Whew, it's been a little while, hasn't it? I'm sorry. I know I've keep saying we're gonna get better, and then life keeps happening and things keep getting in the way. I was traveling and then I came back and it was my birthday, which is actually going to be the subject of today's floor sits. That's right, we are back with another floor sits episode. I'm so excited you guys like these videos. I love doing them and they really make me happy, and I'm so glad that you guys enjoy them too. So today's is actually going to be kind of birthday related because I just turned 24 on the 2nd, and I had a very eventful year. I had a very up and down kind of crazy year, and frankly, a lot of stuff happened. Like, a lot of things happened, and I learned a lot of life lessons. So today I am actually going to be doing a floor sit that is sort of like 23 things I learned in my 23rd year. So I learned a lot of things, and I feel like I have some stuff to share with you. So I'm going to be sharing 23 different like life lessons / just things that I learned, and I hope that they will be useful to you guys. I hope that you will find them to be, you know, basically to learn from my mistakes and my triumphs. And yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stop rambling and let's just go ahead and get into this video. It might be a long one. I'm gonna try to not make it a super long video, but there are 23 things, and yeah, some of them are gonna be funny, some of them are gonna be heartfelt, but here's my dog. But I hope you guys will enjoy it anyway. Try not to take this too terribly seriously, but I think it'll be fun. So let's start, shall we? So the number one thing I learned in my 23rd year was by far the biggest lesson that I learned, and it is listen to your body. I know I've talked about this a lot on my channel, and I hope that this will probably be the last time I mention it for a long time, because I can feel myself getting annoyed with myself, so I'm sure you guys are too. If you didn't know, I was in a pretty bad accident this past year. I fell off a cliff and I really hurt myself. I ended up with a broken hand and a torn up elbow and like 16-inch cuts up the side of my body, and deep bruising that is still there even though it happened in July. So I got really injured, and I had to do a lot of medical stuff because I knew that my body was in pain. I knew that I was hurting and that something wasn't right, and I went to a few different doctors to get different opinions because I knew my hand was broken. I knew it was messed up, but they couldn't find the break until I went to a hand specialist, and they finally figured out that it was broken. And then I finally got surgery on my elbow like 6 months later. And I think the biggest lesson I learned with that was never stop listening to your body. You are the only person who can feel what is happening inside of your own body. And if something doesn't feel right, like, don't just take somebody's word for it. Get a second opinion. Don't let people talk you out of, you know, like, oh, you're probably just sore or you're probably just whatever. Like, also don't freak yourself out, but at the same time, like, listen to your body and listen to your gut, because you know when something's not right. No one else is gonna know that, and you've got to look out for yourself. And I definitely learned that. I used to be somebody who very much just ignored things and hoped that they would get better. And then you learn that they don't get better. When you're actually really hurt, things don't get better when you don't acknowledge them. So you have to go talk to doctors, get second opinions, do what you can, and just listen to your body. In whatever way that means to you, your body knows what's right and wrong. Just pay attention to it. Number 2, invest in good skincare. This is something I learned because my face went berserk on me this past year, mostly just since I had surgery. Crazy terrible breakouts. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on skincare. I went with products that had either chemicals that didn't work for me or just weren't strong enough. Just invest in your skincare. Do it. Your skin will thank you. Go find things that work for you. Go to a skincare specialist. Go to a dermatologist. If you can afford it, do it. If not, do tons of online research. Find what you can afford. There's good stuff out there, but I say invest in your skincare because it's the canvas for everything else. Number 3 was a big one. It will never not be scary to put yourself out there, but you have to keep doing it. I am learning this to this day, every second of every day, is I am not great at putting myself out there. I mean, it may seem like that because I have a YouTube channel, but to me this feels different than in like personal relationships or in work or in making friendships, or, you know, like it's hard to put yourself out there because you will get rejected. There will be times where you get rejected or where you don't get what you want. But it is so important, and I'm learning this and I'm working on it so hard, is that it is still worth it to put yourself out there, because you never know what can happen, and you never know, you can't get anything you don't ask for, in a sense of like, if you really, really want something, ask for it. Figure out a way to get it. Put yourself out there. If you get rejected, get back up, start over. It's an experience, but it's worth it every single time to get up and try again. And yeah, just know when to take care of yourself too. Number 4 is, what was true in your past does not have to be true in your present or your future. This was actually something I learned from a video that Ingrid Nilsson did, actually, where she talked about like making a list of past truths and future truths, and things that you want to be true now, and things that were true to you growing up don't always apply to you as an adult, or they don't apply to you today if they did yesterday. And I actually did this because I felt like it was something I really, really needed to do, because I grew up so different than I am now. And I know everybody does that, but I had a lot of preconceived notions about things that were true for me growing up. They were how I survived. They were how I got through life. They were influenced from church and from family and from friends and things, you know, kind of these truths that I had built up in my mind to be the end all be all. And I realized that those things really didn't serve me anymore. And I watched this video. If I can find it, I will link it down below. I believe it's like maybe Ingrid's video on like what to do on a bad day or something like that. I can't remember, but I made this list of things that used to be true for me that I didn't want to be true anymore. And they were kind of deep things. I wish I had the list here to show you, but I'm talking about like deep things. Like I think I had like my relationship with alcohol was very complicated, because and still is, but I had such a preconceived notion of alcohol because of the alcoholism I had experienced in my family and because of the things that I had done. But I had to separate myself from it and say, like, not everyone who drinks heavily is an alcoholic. Alcohol does not have to destroy families. It does not have to do this thing. It can be good. And I was someone who would not drink heavily ever. And not that I do now. I still don't drink heavily, but I have, since making this list and doing this thing, like, acknowledged that there can be a, I don't want to say good side, but a non-harmful side to alcohol. And that is something that has totally changed for me in the past year. I'm much more comfortable with it now. I'm more comfortable with having more drinks. I'm more comfortable being around people who have had more to drink than I ever was. My just like general relationship of myself, of like, I don't have to be the girl who takes care of everybody else. And that was a truth that I had made for myself, was that was who I was. And that was my definition of who I was. And I wrote this list and I tore it up. And it was this list of like 15 things of like, these were my past truths. And then I made a new one about things that I wanted for myself. Like, what were the things that I wanted to be? What were my future truths or my present truths? And I wrote them all down. And honestly, it was so life-changing and wonderful. And I feel like I learned so much doing that. And I realized that, like, I didn't have to be this person that I had grown up. I didn't have to continue being this role when I was in this totally new part of my life. I didn't have to continue being my old self just because that's who I had been for 23 years. I could be the version of myself that I wanted to be, and I can be it more openly, and I can be it more confidently because of doing that. And I truly believe that was something that really, really helped change and guide who I became. Whoopsies, sorry. Who I became this year. I really do think that was a huge integral part of my changes. Okay, number 5. This one is going to be deep, you guys, and I mean that. Picking up everyone else's issues will give you the illusion of strength and the reality of deterioration. That is so important for me to have learned this year, is that for my whole life I have been someone who picked up everybody else's issues. I gathered everything everybody else was hurting for, whatever the world was hurting for, was something I felt I needed to take on and support so that other people didn't have to feel sad or angry or mad or whatever. And I just kept picking up and picking up and picking up all of these, everybody else's stuff. And it became the symbol of like strength, of like, oh, you're so strong, you can carry all these things, you can do all this stuff. But in reality, what that was doing was deteriorating me and my spirit, and I didn't have time for myself, and I didn't have time to think about myself, or I thought about my problems as lesser than everyone else's, and I didn't do the things I needed to do to take care of myself. And I'm slowly learning, you know, how to set other people's stuff down, and to carry only what I have in my heart, and the things I need to fix, and the things I need to work on for myself, and finally letting other people kind of deal with their own issues. And that may sound harsh, but I kind of gotten to this point where I'm like, it doesn't mean that I'm intentionally trying to hurt someone, and it doesn't make me any weaker to put those things down and to let people deal with their own stuff. It's important, and I encourage you to think about that, and to, if you're like me and you're kind of a fixer, like, how about doing some self-fixing and letting everybody else deal with their own stuff? Number 6, a fun one. Bodysuits, over-the-knee boots, and fun bras are all really fun to wear. Wear them. They make you feel good. That's all I can say about that. Be a little more sassy. It's fun. Number 2, another funny one. If you don't know this, ASOS.com has free 2-day shipping. If you pay $19 a year, you get all your clothes in 2 days, and they're easy to return, and it's like Amazon Prime for clothes. It is a lifesaver. You need a black bodysuit by Friday, and it's Tuesday. Guess what? You can get that black bodysuit by Friday. You can get anything you want on ASOS delivered in 2 days. 2 days. Super easy returns. Highly recommend. Number 8. The people you love the most will hurt you the deepest, but it's okay to know that you can cut them out when it feels like it's time, and it's okay to miss them once they're gone. This is another big one for me. This has been a year of loss and a year of gain as well, but as far as my relationships go, a lot of stuff has changed in a major way, and just want you to know that even though you may love someone so very deeply, and you care for them, and you root for them, and you want them to be the best person, sometimes they can't be the friend that you need them to be, or they can't be the relationship that you need them to be, or the family member you need them to be. And you have to let them go, and you have to let it go, and know that you may never get the closure that you want, but you have to do what is safe and what is good for your own heart, and you have to let those people go. And it sucks, and it's okay to miss them when they're gone. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to be angry at yourself for missing them. It's a natural reaction to have. You're gonna miss people that were a part of your life, but know that it's okay to also let them go, and it doesn't make you a bad person. Number 9, take care of your mind. For me, this meant therapy, meditation, taking mental health days when I needed them. Take your medication if you're on it. You know, therapy has been a huge thing for me. I started it when I had my surgery. It has been so helpful. It is nice to have an outsider opinion. I highly recommend therapy. I go every week, and I love my therapist, and she does great things for me, and I really, really love having that chance to talk to her. But I also took up meditation, which meditation is so helpful. It seems so cheesy, like this thing you think of gurus out in the desert doing weird stuff. That's not what it is. It is actually really helpful, and it just helps you to calm your mind or to focus on something else for 10 minutes. It's fantastic. Number 10, there is nothing a good puppy snuggle cannot fix. I love dogs. I love animals. I snuggle with my dog every night, and he is my instant fix to all things wrong in my life. Number 11, sometimes letting people take care of you actually is what's best for everyone. I'm stubborn. Sometimes I don't want people to take care of me. Sometimes that's exactly what needs to happen, and I just need to get over it. Number 12, mess shit up. Mess up for me. Learn to mess up my hair because it looks better when I mess it up a little bit after I curl it. Mess up your art, mess up your life, mess up whatever. Do things to disrupt your everyday routine, mess things up. It's been a messy year, but there's been so much growth for me, and it's been because I disturbed my routine. I disturbed everything about my life, not necessarily intentionally, but it happened. And honestly, I feel like a totally different person than I was a year ago, in the best way possible. I feel like I'm becoming more and more of myself, and it came from disruption, just complete and total disruption of everything I knew. And I highly recommend getting in there and messing some shit up. Number 13, I define my worth, and you define your worth, and that has been something that's been huge for me. I did an entire Floor Sits video about it. If you haven't seen it, I recommend going to watch it. you determine your own worth. Who I am and what I'm worth and my value comes from no one but me. And I'm the only one who can decide that I'm of lesser value than someone else or something else. And I'm learning that, and I'm embracing it now. And I get to decide what I'm worth. And that's really exciting. Number 14, have life goals, not life plans. This is something I've learned over the past probably a couple of years, is that life has a way of destroying all your plans and just saying, screw your plans, I don't care about your plans, these are my plans. And that is okay, because typically life, God, whoever you want to make it out to be, has a much better plan for you than you ever had for yourself. And I just learned, have life goals, but just don't have life plans. Like, they're gonna go awry, they're gonna mess up. Don't put so much stress on your plans, put the emphasis on your goals, and you'll find a way to get there, whether it looks like what you thought or not. Number 15, the friend zone is real, and it exists. I just leaned into my microphone for the iTunes people. The friend zone is real, and it exists, and it sucks. And you'll get over it. Number 16, when life is hard, go back to basics. It's music, books, good friends, and faith. When life gets hard, it's hard to keep up with everything that's going on in the world right now, and sometimes in order to survive, you just got to go back to basics. You got to go back to your good friends, to the books you love, to the TV shows you love, the movies, the music, everything that makes you feel at peace. When life feels chaotic, go back to it. Number 17, my 17-year-old self would worship the ground that my 23-year-old self walked on. So don't compare your path to other people's. I have a very different life path than a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends are getting married or engaged or, probably gonna have babies in the next couple of years. They have very different life plans than I do. And sometimes it's hard to compare those and to know, like, cost of living in Los Angeles is so much higher than everywhere else. And just, you got to learn to not compare your path to everyone else's. Number 18, my camera's overheating. Number 18, the world is a cruel, confusing, and unforgiving place. Hold your truths tightly, except for the ones that oppress other people, because we must love fiercely and fearlessly. I think that speaks for itself. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget what you believe in. Love is the way to go. Always, 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 forever. Just keep spreading love, and we will all get through this. Number 19, if a Cheeto dictator can become president of the United States, you can do anything you want. Number 20, Shake Shack is highly underrated. If you have a Shake Shack near you, go right now. Number 21, your work friends will become your family. Hold them close and climb anyway. Meaning love them close, but keep your work friends. Sometimes if you have a good job, your work friends are going to become your family, but don't let them keep you from growing. And hopefully there'll be people who will support you and lift you up along the way. Number 22, wounds take time to heal, both physically and emotionally, so be patient with yourself. This is a big one for me. I want to fix things. I want them to be fixed right away. I want it to be over with. I don't want to deal with it, but they take a long time to heal, and you got to go to physical therapy. You got to go to regular therapy. You have to do what you have to do to heal, and not to be so hard on myself when it takes a long time, because that's been really hard for me, but I'm working on it. And number 23, dancing always helps. When in doubt, dance it out, my friends. So those are the 23 things I wanted to share with you guys. Obviously there were so many more, but you gotta kind of narrow it down, I guess. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit different. If there's any of these that you want to hear me expand on in another Floor Sits episode, please let me know down below in the comments, or tweet me at Parker Roberts or whatever. I want to hear what you guys want to hear about in the next Floor Sits video. Thank you for being patient with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. In the meantime, my name is Parker. This is Stories in the Dust, and I really hope you'll stick around a while. Bye, guys.